Hello, welcome back, Record Keeper. Today, if you're gonna tell from the music, we got the Big Bridge event, Dawn Over the Big Bridge, which is an ultimate fight boss rush. And you know, trying not to stress myself out too much, I decided not to leave them all for the end and to do them one half and then one half, so 4 and 4. Let's get started. So first up is Kefka. Now, I've went through ahead of time and cleared out all of these to do test runs so I can get like sort of an optimal party. You know, do my testing ahead of time. Maybe make this go a little smoother, huh? So Kefka's big thing is that he has a counter to physical attacks called Slave Crown. And, just a moment. So you do actually want to go with more of a magic-based party against him. However, his defenses are actually pretty high. Luckily, he's also weak to Holy. Now, his Slave Crown is only about a 20% chance on counter. So, going no physical, not really a thing that you have to do. You can go a little bit physical, which is actually what I plan to do. I plan to bring one physical person up against him. That said, other than his Freezing Dust, which ignores defense, he's mostly entirely magic-based. And since that ignores defense, there's no reason for Protectka or anything like that. Alright, so the general setup is we're going to have Ignis up top as our physical boy, doing a power break down on him for Freezing Dust, and Terra throwing out a couple spells, but also bringing Dispel for when he self-hastes about halfway through the fight. Penelo and Realm are going to be doing holy damage, and then Selphie is our healer, throwing out some holies when she can when healing isn't needed. And these being ultimate fights, I gotta get the stats up. And then we do actually want to grab a wall. Wall is really good for this. With other things taken into account, it will negate almost all the damage that you get. With, you know, your other mitigations taken into account. I don't know if I said that. Am I repeating myself now? That right about there, and there. All right. Now, Kefka being the first in this boss rush actually is pretty easy. The Slave Crown is actually pretty much his most threatening thing. And once you get around that, it's sort of a non-threat. Of course, I brought Power Breakdown for his defense piercing attack because, hey, he's piercing defense. So the only way to mitigate that is to lower his offense. And in order not to, double stack my my everything, decided to bring a dance instead. Alright. The only thing about this fight is a little like stress-inducing every time you use a physical attack with your attacker. Because every time it's like, is this the one that's gonna cause the counter? Am I gonna get wrecked here? Nope. Got lucky that time. Luckily, Stop doesn't have too long of a wind down on it, so he shouldn't be stopped for too long, but we should still try to heal him nonetheless. I'm gonna hold off because I'm pretty sure he's gonna do the transition really soon. Yeah, so that's the kind of damage that you'll get out of freezing dust when it's not broken down. That's why it's a good thing to break it down. Alright, so this is actually a bit of a scary situation. Luckily, Pinel is a healer, so her mind is pretty high. Also, we seem to maybe have run out of Sentinel Grimoire. This may hurt. Like a lot. Luckily, he keeps using freezing dust, which we can take into account for. And that gets rid of the magic buff that he put himself on. Yeah, put on himself. So, we're pretty much in the clear now. We've gotten by the weird hump that happens about halfway through the fight. Yep. Sentinel Grimoire did wear off. That's my fault. I should have been on top of that. Yeah, the dances have really good animations, which is a shame because I find them to be actually kind of hard to fit into parties sometimes. He's using that a lot more than he did in my practice run. And we're getting very lucky. We're not seeing even one slave crown, which, knock on wood. just want to finish him off at this point. There we go. Not an overly complex fight. You can get wrecked a bit by the slave crown, but you should at most get one. You know, don't let those stack up. The freezings can be a little rough because they still hurt no matter what, and they do stop people. I'm trying to understand this new layout on I mean, the main reason that I like to go in with one melee person is it is only 20%, and Saints Cross hits real hard. Anywho, up next. So, Odin's whole thing is being mostly physical. And he also has a physical counter. Actually, he has a whole fucking list of things here. But the big thing is, he's mostly physical. You have a timer on the match. He has one magic attack that does hit the entire party. So, you do want to watch out for that. That's really it. He gets really magic tanky halfway through. Otherwise, his magic defense is actually pretty low. Overall, his defenses are pretty low. The other thing is that you can interrupt him, and the game actually requires you to interrupt him at least once. I don't even know what other strat was for. That one's so old. Okay, so the big thing is Odin actually has a move that hits 4 times on random targets, but that one can be taunt retaliated. And actually, if it's taunt retaliated, it does a lot of damage back if you have boosts going. Ignis is going to be there to dish some damage, but also to do a magic breakdown, and Red is there to do the power breakdown. I actually am bringing Lunatic high here because I need to protect. I need protect, I need Shelga, because I'm actually going with a no-wall strategy. Ooh, that one's real nice. I forgot to get stats. But yeah, this fight is extremely doable with no wall. The only thing is that his counter, which isn't tauntable, can be a little scary if you're slapped with it. Does actually deal quite a bit of damage. There we go. So the general strategy is we really need to get our defense up as fast as possible and then just lay into Odin. And hopefully get a dismissal early That way I'm not fishing for that later. Pretty much Locke's not going to do anything until he gets that dismissal off. Except for do dismissal. And it's really, really good sight to just see everybody start with, like, no fucking ATB. Alright. Deep breaths. I swear this worked. They'll be fine. Also, luckily, Locke can heal himself. Red is taking a lot of damage. I might have to look into equipment after this. This is a good phase right here to actually get your dismissal proc that you need for the condition. Since he's not actually going to be doing too much. Uh-oh. That was a bit of a mistake. Alright, well we got the proc. Give me just a hot second. Yep. I forgot to adjust audio desync after yesterday's stream. So, audio might have been off up to this point. Technical difficulties will always haunt me when doing streams. Yeah, the Skyward Swing is really, really spicy. It's kind of his scariest move. Let's get one more attack in there, just in case Locke doesn't finish it off, but I think he will. There we go. It can be a little hectic during the middle parts there, but I like that strategy. Alright, now that we're out of the fight, sorry for my own paranoia, I just want to check this shit and make sure everything's still coming in fine. Alright, good. Everything's good. Alright. Golbez. And as stated in the chat already, yeah, Golbez is a little easy. So the biggest thing about Golbez is he summons the Shadow Dragon at the start, which you want to take out as fast as possible. And then once you do that, Golbez himself is actually pretty easy, because the only thing you have to worry about is he has an AoE Paralyze in his Ice phase, which you can knock him out of by hitting him with Ice. We're actually going to use a very similar strategy to the Kefka fight. And also note that we do have to lower the Shadow Dragon's attack. And one thing I just want to mix up is I've been noticing this, and then I remembered it from testing, that Realm, due to the fact that she doesn't have to do the breakdowns, tends to run out of Dialgas. Yes. Okay. Yep. So, the general assessment here is that Terra will be smacking Golbez when he's in his Ice phase. Ignis will be hitting him with Saint's Cross, and is also to hit the condition on the Shadow Dragon. And then everybody else is just going to be doing damage or healing. It's pretty simple. Also, yeah, you could just bring Carbuncle. You're not wrong. He'll hit himself with his weakness every time. Okay. This is a weird stream since because I prepped everything and I'm clearing all these fights on the first try, I'm gaining stamina back. Now, the one risky thing that I'm actually doing here is I don't have a way to dispel haste on Golbez if the dragon hastes him, which can cause issues. Hopefully, though, it works out for me. We do want to go all out on this dragon so that it does not get to turn 3. If it gets to turn 3, then we might just straight up lose somebody. I don't know if Garrote does... what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for here? Any sort of status effect. But I usually don't leave that up to chance. And nice. Alright. We've made it to part 2 of this fight. Not phase 2, really. I haven't been counting ice phase moves, and I don't want to hit him in any other phase with ice, because that might cause a counter. Well, that was at least 2, so let's not. Let's just be safe. Yep, see? I would have been fine. At this point, it's just all a matter of wearing down Golbez. Slowly but surely. Again, the only major threat is if he uses, I think it's called Binding Cold, when he's in ice phase. That's the only thing that really can mess this up right now. When Ignis gets another turn, we'll probably cast Wall with him. Because, yep, our Roaming Warrior wore off. So I do kind of want to wait and see which form he switches to next. Nice. Perfect. Yeah, I never got an ice double proc during testing, so I actually don't know if what happens first, the barrier switch or the second ice cast. That could potentially mess me up. I don't think it will, but potential's there. The only thing about this fight is it just takes a long time. At this point, I've won. Just a matter of, is Golbez willing to admit that? If the attack requirement on the Shadow Dragon didn't exist, I might actually just bring a Dispelling Blade on Ignis instead of anything else. Yeah, Carbuncle would make this go a bit faster. The problem is, I would have no way of healing anybody from, though I have only used heal twice. I think you're right. I think just bring Carbuncle. It appears that our wall may have worn off at this point. I think in my testing he was switching to ice form a bit more often. So I was able to really do damage that way. I'll have to remember to bring that up in my write-up. Actually, quite a bit dangerous, yeah. Carbuncle. And here we are at the final one for tonight. Unileska. She's rough. She's actually pretty rough. She brings a completely different, like an almost completely different moveset to the table. She doesn't have the Osmos. Sorry. Osmos. She doesn't have the single target Holy in the third phase. She has a double hit melee attack. She doesn't have the water weakness, but her defenses are still pretty high, and she has 300,000 health. I actually ran this with a party that I'm going to show you and take screenshots for the write-up that I do. Right here. So this party with... No, this fight is actually very different. This party with this realm synergy here was just barely able to clear the fight. Not even master. I lost a couple people right at the end to a holy, and I was surprised they lasted as long as they did. I'm going to grab these print screens for myself. Again, for a later write-up that is almost actually finished. I just have to write the Untitled part. Which means I have to adjust some things for other parts. One's fine. So, the general strategy with this group is to get that silence in phase 1 and always keep your self buffs up. Making sure that you do time it for the refreshing of like Shelga and everything like that is a little rough. So, you do have to be wary. However, this is not the party I'm going to be running with because, again, as I stated, whoops, that party could not master Untitled. And also, I think I was lucky to even clear. And I don't think I could replicate it, to be fair. The clear alone took me about an hour and a half. I was like, I was at the end. Like, I used up everything. Instead, we're going with this party. And I will actually be using Shout. Now, the general strategy here is similar to the ultimate, in that you want to silence as late as you can in phase 1, carry that through phase 2, and beat her down in phase 3. The difference here is you can blind her in phase 3, which I really recommend doing, because while it's not too threatening, there is an attack that she uses in phase 3. Now, if you can't fit the blind into your party, that's fine. It's honestly one of her weaker attacks in phase 3. So it's not super threatening. You can actually kind of ignore it. That all said, let's get to it. Also, when I say it's a different fight, I mean, like, alright, mechanically, it's the same fight. Except you don't have to worry about Osmos. Outside of that, it's actually harder. Because, yeah, you're asking, is it easier or harder? It's actually harder. Because she has 300,000 health. And her defenses are just overall higher. And she doesn't have the water weakness anymore. So, you'll honestly hit a wall. Unless you bring a boost. Or unless you're self-boosting. Like I said, the other party was able to clear using also let me also correct that a little bit more. If you have soul breaks, you might be able to pull it off, because you just need some extra damage. So yeah, if you have like super soul breaks or burst soul breaks, you might be fine. But outside of that, it's gonna be rough. I wish I could. I should have recorded my initial testing, but that's on me. Anywho, let's stop beating around the bush. Oh yeah, and in that test run where I cleared but didn't master, I used something along the lines of like 4 medicas. Like, I used a lot of medicas on that fight. There's still a chance in like the back of my head that this party won't succeed. Also, like, I did an attempt where I tried with the Taunt Retaliator. Taunt Retaliation does nothing in this fight. It's not worth bringing it at all. Yeah, so that's the double hit. That's her new move. It's scary. I've never actually seen her use Haymaker this much. If it was my Taunt Retaliation run, that might have actually made it way easier. Alright, looks like we're not going to get one. A silence off right before the transition, so that's good enough, really, though. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now we start losing health constantly. Now, the one bad caveat of this strategy is that we are going to get into phase 3 very quickly. And as such, she is going to be very scary. No, full charge. Also figures that she didn't like fucking go after oh wait, I didn't want to do that, did I? I did not want to use the Dark Buster. Alright, I think we're good. I'm trying not to push her into final phase just yet, because you may have noticed. Alright, good. He may have it. We're out of haste, which means we're out of shout. Good, okay. We have shout. Let this start building. There's our Sentinel Grimoire. It's time to push through final phase. You heard her. Or it. Push through the sap and fight on. So, because we pushed into this phase as quickly as we did, Untitled has yet to unlock Megadeth, which means we're going to be seeing a lot of AoE Holy. Or Haymaker, when she's feeling nice. Oh, she's being really nice right now. In my in my test run where I got Mastery. Oh, Megadeth, nice. In my test run where I got Mastery, I got AoE Holy 3 times in a row. Yeah, Galoof's job right now is just to spam full charge. You can blind this phase. It's not a bad idea. I'm not looking to do it. The blinding does, of course, stop Haymaker, which it's not bad. It's a good idea. I am looking to finish this, though, before something like this happens. Yeah, that's no good. I can't believe I missed. Fucking knows. Oh. Let's see, even with Shout, this fight is extremely tight. Because my wall's gone. Finish him off, Grandpa. Finish her off. Do it. Get her. Whew. It's not an easy fight. Like, consider I was almost tapped out of abilities and I had shout. Like, you really need good damage. Or soul breaks. Soul breaks can make up that damage if you go a non-shout way. Tonight. Ooh, spooky. Give me the good shit. Oh, listen to that. Let's just sit here for a moment. Let's just sit here and, like, take this song in. Anyway. That's it for the stream. I'm actually going to stay and do the outro here. That's it for the stream. Saturday. Saturday is when the last fight of the bridge drops. So I'll be doing the second half on Saturday. And on Friday, I'm going to be doing the bonus fights for the FF14 event. So if you want to catch more Record Keeper, those are the days to stop by. Probably around 8:30 on Friday to do the first fights and then, you know, the bonus fights. And I actually don't know on Saturday. Maybe 8:30. That way I can roll into the big fight. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you then.